will be forced to withdraw from the U.S. Open. What? Hello. My name is James, and welcome to Mirror Domain's Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. If you like movie news, this is a live stream. And for some reason, yesterday, our first two stories got cut off. So I'm looking at the stream health today. I'm going to monitor it closely, hoping that we don't get our first two stories chopped off, because people wanted to hear more about my Furiosa reactions to the first reactions of Furiosa. So we'll kind of rehash that story. So I apologize if that gets in the way of things. But let's get off the show. let's get off. Yeah, it's going to be one of those days. Let's start off the show with what's opening up this weekend at the theaters. We've got a couple of movies coming up, right? We have the If movie, the Ryan Reynolds Imaginary Friends movie, slated to open with a $30 to $40 million opening. And that's what we predicted yesterday on the news, but that story got chopped out. No need to go back to that. I'll be seeing it tomorrow, guys, at 11:30 a.m., so pay attention for my straight out of the theater reaction for that. It's being projected to be number one because it's going to make $30 million. But, guys, 53% by 99 reviews. It's not going to be fresh. It's actually pretty bad. It's not looking good for If. I had nothing against the trailers for If. I thought it looked like a harmless kind of kid's tale, but it was from John Krasinski, so I wanted to see that because I'm a fan of his other work, which was A Quiet Place Day 1, or A Quiet Place Part 1 and Part 2, right? So 53%, it's not looking good, man. But it's meant for kids, so I'll be fairly lenient on it when I'm looking at the story structure, looking at the character development. We know that there's this big imaginary friend, and I'm guessing that at the end he's going to have to say goodbye to it because that's what grown-ups are supposed to do and kind of thing. Well, I don't really believe in any of that tripe, so it's kind of like that message of like grown-ups don't have imaginary friends. You can. And I said this yesterday. You know, I got this guy named McBain. He follows me around everywhere. Sometimes he interacts with the movie show and disrupts things. He's a bit of a disruptor. So what else is opening up this week? Kingdom of this. Oh, God. The Strangers, Chapter 1 also opens up with a range of 7 to 12 million. Yeah. Guys, I went out and saw The Strangers last night. And if you saw my straight out of the theater reaction, it's not good. It's not a good movie. Actually, I probably should have set up to do a movie review for it today. Maybe later on, at the end of the show, we'll do that. There's nothing really good to say about this movie. If you've seen the first Strangers movie with Liv Tyler that came out, 13, 14 years ago, that movie's far better. This is like the Nickelodeon version of The Strangers. From Rennie Harlan. They made 3 of these. The debacle that is this movie frustrates me because they somehow got the funding to make 3 of them. How? It boggles my mind. Yet movies like Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis struggle to find money. It's frustrating. I understand that, Strangers probably didn't cost that much, maybe 7 to 10 million to make. It's probably going to make that back because people are curious about it. Matt Donato there, we trust his perspectives on horror. What did he say here? The Strangers. Harlan's film thinks it's improving on the original by filling in blanks that are blank for a reason, scrubbing away what the Strangers fans hold dear about Bertino's remarkably revolting mirror to humanity. Well, he was pretty generous on it with 2.5 out of 5, so that's like a 50%. That's not even that good, guys. Like, that's very generous, Matt. I am perplexed by this movie. I like when you hear people say that, okay, we've got a really good idea to kind of reboot the Strangers franchise. We're going to make 3 of them. That usually means that you've got a fairly interesting take on the property. And as I said yesterday in my out of the theater reaction, this movie adds nothing, zero, to the mythology, to the lore, to the way that things go down. The strangers in this movie are less interesting. They're not scary. Like, you've seen this in the trailer. This is pulled straight from the trailer. Okay, they're standing behind her in one scene, and then she moves, and they're gone. That happens multiple times in the movie where you're just like, okay, guys, we get it. They're stealthy. Like, if you watch the original 2 Stranger films, the premise is that the strangers, they're killers, and they like to play with their food. Just get to it, and it takes more than an hour to get there, and what you end up is having one of the main characters there just kind of sulking around in the dark. Can you see them in the background or can't you? And then it's kind of like, okay, we can, but then she's just like walking around for most of the film with this scared look on her face, and that's supposed to be like some big improvement to it, and it's not. This is a pale imitation. I'll get into that in my review. Yeah, it's going to make money because people are going to be curious about it. It's family friendly horror. Yeah, I should have done my review for it. I don't have the poster downloaded for it or anything like that. I didn't put it into the show notes. So what else is opening up this week? Back to Black. Back to Black is that Amy Winehouse picture that I was going to go see at 3 o'clock today, but I'm starting to, The Strangers tarnished my anticipation to go to the theater to watch movies that are getting kind of mediocre scores or less. If is 53%. Back to Black is 36%. Strangers is 20%. Do I want to see Back to Black? Do I want to subject myself to 2 hours of Back to Black? And the answer simply is no. I do not. So that one's probably going to have to wait, guys, because there is another movie that's playing at the Art House Cinema that is getting a little bit more interesting for me to watch. It's called I Saw the TV Glow with 84% on the tomato meter. Teenager Owen is trying to make it through life in the suburbs when his classmate introduces him to a mysterious late-night TV show. Yeah, and apparently like that TV show is about like the supernatural. A vision of a supernatural world beneath our own. In the pale glow of the television, Owen's view of reality begins to crack. Well, hey, you just sold me. You just sold me right there. I want to see something abstract. I want to see something that's entertaining, that makes my mind go, okay. So out of the movies that you got If, Strangers, Back to Black, and I Saw the TV Glow. And I'm going to put I Saw the TV Glow second in my priority. I will see If tomorrow. So pay attention for my straight out of the theater reaction for that tomorrow as well. But today I am going to be roasting The Strangers with not only my review, but a number of shorts that'll just, I got to vent my frustrations with The Strangers, because there's people struggling out there trying to make their own movies, and instead we get fed this recycled, formulaic trash. There, I said it. And I'm going to really embellish on that when I do my review. All right. So, are you guys are you guys excited for any of these movies opening this week, or are you going to go see what? If you're not interested in any of those, um, I would suggest, if you haven't seen it yet, or maybe even for the second time, go see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, because that movie is just wow. It's like this is why we need to go to the theaters to see movies like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. You don't need to go to the theater to see Strangers Chapter 1. There's so many eye-rolling moments in Strangers. It's painful. It's just yeah. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Um, so there you go. That's what's opening up this weekend. And we were yesterday on yesterday's show. We did go through these numbers a little bit more. I don't know why the live stream got cut off. Like I went back to edit it and chop out my Furiosa reactions, and for some reason the live stream didn't process that part of the video. It was weird. It started in the middle of that story. Um, so I can't explain why that happened. It seems like today that we've been streaming since the get go here. Arglass Vikings in the live chat says, "So pleased you took one for the team, James, so that I didn't have to sit through the Strangers Chapter 1." Yeah, wait for my review. I'm like, uh, you know how much I didn't like Night Swim or uh, what's the other? Lisa Frankenstein. The Strangers made those ones look like Shakespeare. Oi, yeah, we'll get yeah. We've got some entertaining videos coming out later today about The Strangers, where you'll see me really lay into it because it's shameful. It's shame on you, uh, and it's kind of really eerie to see like Rennie Harlan out championing this as some kind of success project. It's going to make its money back because it's not a big budget movie, and they're going to misinterpret that as a success, and it is, and they shouldn't. Okay, moving on. I kind of want to recap yesterday's Furiosa stuff. Early, oh wait, did I pull that title? No, I didn't. Um, I just got to get that Furiosa play reactions THR. Was it THR? Yeah. Okay. Um, here we go. Furiosa first reactions say it's stunning powerhouse, but no Fury Road. And yesterday, I went through this story and I was like, guys, you can't compare it to Fury Road. Why are you going into a Furiosa prequel story wanting it to be like Mad Max Fury Road? I adored Mad Max Fury Road. I thought it was one of the best. It was my favorite movie of that year. I thought it was top tier filmmaking. Again, a reason why we go to the theaters to watch these big, huge spectacles on the screen. And I ha- I'm just shocked by some of the early reactions coming in saying, "Well, it's no Fury Road, so it's not that good." And it's like, what are you expecting? When we watched the trailers for Furiosa, we know that it's about Mortan Joe and Dementis, Dr. Dementis here, that are kind of like rival gangs, and then the Furiosa character gets caught up in between them. Um, which is an intriguing premise for me because there's a Morton Joe right there. We know him from Fury Road, but it's kind of like people just want what, a rinse and repeat of Fury Road, but with Furiosa instead. That's not what I'm signing up for. I'm signing up to see Chris Hemsworth really go off the deep end with his expressions. Let's see what he can do. Breathing life into this villainous character, Dementis, and I like Anya Taylor Joy, so I'm really looking to Furiosa. Early buzz say though that it's pretty good, 87% on the tomato meter, 60 reviews, and that's good. That's a good sign. Now it opens up next week, guys, so I will be seeing it next week. For sure, Grace Randolph likes it. Not as good as Fury Road. See, no, that's a comment. Um, let's see what she says here. This is more on the level of Sin City or Watchmen, playing very much like a graphic novel. Taylor Joy is a softer Furiosa than Theron, but Hemsworth makes up for it with his incredible villain. Very dark, very with flourish. Yeah, okay, well, that's exactly what I want to hear. See, now, not as good as Fury Road. That's just saying that, okay, from that comment, uh, I get the impression that she's not wanting it to be kind of the standard. She's just saying that she liked Fury Road, but she liked Fury Road better. She's not really comparing it exactly word for word. There are other ones in here that are um, Alonso Duralde. It's hard to top perfection. See, now this is a comment that says, I like Fury Road. Why would you make a movie that's trying to do like in the same universe kind of thing? So when you say it's hard to top perfection, as much as I like Fury Road, this kind of a review I totally dismiss. It's the reason why there's no Citizen Kane 2 or Still Singing in the Rain. Yeah. Again, when you make comments like that, you're just saying, I like Fury Road. I don't know why we have to go back to this universe because I don't want to see it. It's like you're crybaby, right? You're crybabying, and I don't respect that too much. There was one review in here that I roasted yesterday. I think it was from Variety, right here. It all adds up to is a movie. What? Is that a sentence? It all adds up to is a movie that can be darkly bedazzling. Remember, Variety hired this guy. Do you not have editors that check these things? It all adds up to is a movie. But pay me to do your review, guys. Variety, you want me? I'll come and work for you, and I'll write these reviews. I'll make videos for you. I'll try to champion the social media platforms to get more traffic towards the Variety site. Oh, wait. I think I could do a better job than saying dribble like that. That guy gets paid. Unbelievable. And that will embrace and defend it in a dozen passionate ways, but it's one, to me, falls very short of being Mad Max home run. The broken sense is terrible. And that's an awful thing. Oh my God. Peter Hammond from Deadline. This is the best screenplay of any Mad Max film, with much to say. Furiosa has the goods. Time magazine, despite its many action sequences and a symphonic cacophony of motorbikes vrooming in the sand, the movie evolves into a slog that's working hard to persuade us we're having a good time, though it may not actually be giving us one. So there are some, that is talking about pacing and stuff like that, and that kind of criticism I prefer over saying stuff like, while many similar ingredients of Mad Max Fury Road flow through this prequel, they don't gel as magically in the visual striking but overlong and narrative shallow. It's like you're trying to compare it to Fury Road, and I won't have it. Not here on this channel, because I like Fury Road a lot, and as I said, it's one of my favorite. It is my favorite movie of that year, and I hope that we do get another Max story at some time. But I think Anya Taylor-Joy picking up from Charlize is fine. I'm looking forward to it next week. So I'll be seeing it next Thursday. I think there's a 3 o'clock screening that I'm going to. So pay attention for my straight out of the theater reaction for that. For the second day in a row, Megalopolis gets back into the headlines. Francis Ford Coppola addresses Megalopolis' $120 million budget at Cannes. And I said this yesterday. Yeah, it cost $120 million. He put $100 million of it of himself, like his own money, into it. And it breaks my heart, but I understand why he says the money doesn't matter. Because this is something that he's been working on since the 80s. This is a passion project. He's in his 80s, guys. So it's kind of like, this is a movie I want to make for a long time. No studio's giving me the money for this. I'm making this movie. And for that, I respect Francis Ford Coppola. And that's going to be all over the trades today, guys. And it's heartbreaking because you've heard the early buzz for Megalopolis. Um, People are saying messy, maddening, but it's a masterpiece. So I don't know if it's messy because of the narrative structure of the film, or if it's just kind of like tonally all off. Because we see in the trailers for it that it goes to some pretty funky places. But you know what? If this is like your last movie and you want to go out doing something that you want to do, I respect it. Yesterday we talked about the money issue, 120 million. Because of reviews that are kind of like meh, I don't know if it's for me. It's a little too artistic. It's not going to make 120 million dollars at the box office. It's securing up its IMAX release schedule, but it's not going to make 120 million dollars. The best thing that can happen for this movie is that a bunch of us hardcore movie fans go out and see it, and we look at it and say, okay, uh, I know it's a little artistic, but give it a chance, and that will maybe make 50 million back. But I'll be shocked if it even makes 50 million at the box office, guys. Typically, these kinds of movies, don't make that kind of bank. And I'm looking at movies like that are could be in the same wheelhouse. Beau is Afraid is in that wheelhouse. Uh, and you know how much I roasted that one last year from Ari Aster, where they were dealing with some abstract ideas. 67 by critics, 71 by the audience. Um, but I even in that one, as I said, it was too long. The story felt all over the place. I could understand that there were still some artistic endeavors in there that, like the final third act, worked for me in Beau is Afraid. It just took too long to get there, and it kind of ruined my experience of the film. So, um, I got nothing but respect for Francis Ford Coppola. So when he says other things for like slamming the studio system, he says Megalopolis execs don't make good movies. They pay their debt obligations. So he's getting a little bit at the politics behind some of the big studio executives owing favors to people saying, okay, I owe you a favor. We're going to greenlight that movie. We're going to make things like Beau is Afraid, or even worse, The Strangers Chapter 1, because that's how these things get made. And it's you're just mind boggled as to why why um, and it's yes, Strangers will make its money back because it didn't cost that much, and it's a horror fans are going to go and watch horror, but it's because of that also, that's why movies like Megalopolis struggle for financing, right? So there's a big article up on Variety about this where he goes into his thoughts. Quote, I fear that the film industry has become more of a matter of people being hired to meet their debt obligations because the studios are in great debt. And the job is not so much to make good movies, the job is to make sure they pay their debt obligations. So talking about timing and stuff, and quotas for shareholders, like quarterly results and stuff like that. Um, which is definitely, well, it's business, and that's going to be an aspect of all business, unfortunately. uh, and it's kind of like when you try to make uh, art, it's hard to negotiate and dance through all those landmines of the business side of things. And Francis Ford Coppola is learning that the hard way. But hopefully, through shows like this, where we get to talk to movie fans and we get to consult with each other and stuff, maybe small movies like I Saw the TV Glow will get enough recognition by the audience and say, okay, well, you know what? Maybe the smaller movie is worthy of my dollars over the big, overproduced Hollywood uh, formulaic horror movie like The Strangers, Chapter 1. Megalopolis. It is one of my most anticipated movies of the year now because uh, of how abstract it looked. I am a Francis Ford Coppola fan. I like the cast. I like the aesthetic of the way the trailer looked, but I am going to be um, cautious going in. Because we read these headlines of the reviews, kind of thing, like it's a little bit messy, it's ungainly, epic, crams in a lot of uh, stars and decades worth of ideas. So maybe it's overreaching, but you kind of look at it as a master filmmaker's last opus kind of thing. That's the way I look at it. Like we just found uh, some lost sheet music from Mozart. Let's play it up, man. I want to listen to it. This is Coppola's last big hurrah. I want to check it out. Don't you? Megalopolis. What do you guys think? Oh, coming to theaters this week, this fall, guys. When we get an exact release date, I'll let you know as soon as possible. All right. Um, Glass says there in the live chat, I rewatched Fury Road. Nicholas Hoult was a standout for me. It would be cool if there was a male protagonist in Furiosa. Well, I think there is, isn't there? Slightly. We've seen it in the trailer that she was like being close to somebody who I think is played by Tom Burke, right? Praetorian Jack. Like they help each other try to escape or something. I don't know how deep the romance, if there's romance, but I think they work together for a little bit. But yeah, she's the main character because that's what the movie's called. Next week, man. Big movie. Looking forward to it. This one, yeah, there he is right there. This one, I think I am going to go out to the Landmark to see in the IMAX. I'll pay the extra cash because I want to see the big sound. This is the movie where you want the huge sound. Yeah. All right, where are we at? David Cronenberg is also at Cannes. So, earlier, or yeah, it was this week, right? We did a reaction to his new movie called The Shrouds, about some guy that tries to put a device on his head called a shroud that allows him to commune with the dead. Very Cronenbergian. Even as he bows a painfully personal film at Cannes. Okay, so The Shrouds is inspired by his grief at the loss of his wife, maybe his last. Oh, they're saying that this might be his last movie as well. Francis Ford Coppola and Cronenberg doing kind of like a big bow. Here's my final film kind of thing. I like the trailer for it, The Shrouds. It was very, very curious. Let's pull that up again. Like, yeah. Vincent Cassel and Diane Kruger. Guy Pearce is also listed in the cast. It looks like he uses a bunch of grave sites to try to use this device. He sets up a bunch of wires that go down into the body's brains or something like that. And then he puts this shroud over himself to commune with the dead. Very, very Cronenberg. I like the trailer for it. I like the cast. People say that Vincent Cassel has got the white hair, so it's supposed to be like semi-autobiographical. And now that you know the premise behind it, you know, that it was inspired by his grief for the loss of his wife, he's injecting himself sort of into this movie. May hit a little too close to home for some people, I would think. now that I know that angle of it, that he's got a little bit more of a personal thing on it. The Hollywood Reporter has this big article up on it now because it just Cannes happening this week, and this is one of the movies that debuted there. So people are going to be talking about it. Which reminds me, I do want to write that note down. The Shrouds, because I'm going to participate in Perry Nemiroff's doing a live stream later on today. So I usually participate in her live streams in the on the side chats. I want to send in a super chat. Maybe I'll ask her about this movie if she's heard anything about this, because she respects the horror genre. I don't want to ask her about The Strangers. They're going to talk about The Strangers, so I don't need to ask about that. Let's continue on with horror. I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot lands summer 2025 release. Jennifer Caton Robinson helms the new film for Sony. And remember that report last year that it was like, ooh, we've got Jennifer Love Hewitt and this guy back. This guy, what is his name? I don't even. He's married to Sarah Michelle Gellar. Fred, right? Freddie Prinze Jr. For God's sakes, James. Hollywood Reporter previously reported that Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. were in talks to reprise their roles from the first movie that hit in 1997, but they were only in talks. And Freddie Prinze had come out and said that he hadn't even been approached. So it's kind of like, I don't know if that's going to happen. As scheduled for release July 18th, 2025. So it'll be a summer release. A scheduled, no, wait, hold on. That's for A Naked Gun. Why do you have that in here? Why do you have that in there? July 18th. Sorry, for 2025. So it'll be the same weekend as the Naked Gun reboot. Whatever. This just goes to echo part of the problem what Francis Ford Coppola was just talking about in those stories that we just did, where it's kind of like we don't get any fresh ideas kind of stuff because movie studios have these obligations to make deadlines for quotas for their quarterly reports and stuff, and it's kind of like they only want to make bank on recognizable IP names. And you know how I felt about the Strangers Chapter 1. I think that I don't have high hopes for this one. Not that the first movie was a masterpiece or anything. When you actually go back and watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, not very good. And I am a huge defender of Jennifer Love Hewitt as an actress, but some of the dialogue was so god atrocious. Even she struggled with it. Yeah, it wasn't that good. It was Kevin Williamson wrote it, right? And he did the Scream movie, so there was kind of like, well, what else did you write, guy? I wrote this little script called I Know What You Did Last Summer, and that was kind of like, okay, it was fun. It wasn't a masterpiece. The second one was kind of a meh. Phil's son. Didn't you know that I was Phil's son? That's why my name is Philip. Or something like that. Filson or something like that. It was something stupid like that for the second one. I can't remember. Do you have any hope for this? Any hype? There was like a soft TV reboot of it as well that I don't know, it didn't work. Why is that doing that? Not, huh? Maybe I do need a new mouse. I'll move on. Next year. I Know What You Did Last Summer. From Jennifer Caton Robinson that did that Netflix Do Revenge movie with Maya Hawke, right? Where they swap popular girl with the nerdy girl. If you need to know that. That's Five Nights 2 and Megan 2 get release dates shifted. Five Nights at Freddy's sequel gets December 2025 release. Megan 2.0 shifts 1 month. So Universal announced plans for The Woman in the Yard and Drop. I don't know what the heck that is. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, though, has received a December 5th, 2025 release. I watched it. I was like, meh. Apparently, a lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's video game fans didn't like it. Um, I still have more fun with Willy's Wonderland. Nicolas Cage beating up the robots instead of that guy. It just felt like it was two weird, two different types of movies. He's dealing with the trauma of losing his young sister, and then it's kind of like you got these other robots trying to kill them. It's just like, uh, yeah. Megan 2.0 moves by a month from May 16th to June 26th. So Megan was a February movie, and now it's going to be a summer movie. Wait, hold on here. Uh, Megan 2.0 is June 27th. My God. So that is going to put it into play with movies like the Naked Gun reboot, uh, and I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot. Previously, The Black Phone 2 was set to open June 27th, but it will now come out October 17th, 2025. The Black Phone 2 is, I don't know how they're going to continue that story with the same cast. If you know what happened in that movie, that's that Ethan Hawke grabber movie where he kidnaps little kids and brutally murders them. So I don't know how that sequel is going to work, but apparently they're all coming back. Okay, and it makes more sense for that kind of a horror movie to be at Halloween time, so it'll get a little bit more of the cheddar. The Five Nights at Freddy's sequel wasn't only picked to get a release date for the first time. The original horror film, The Woman in the Yard, will open March 28th of next year, followed by The Drop on April 22nd. Okay. Emmett Tammy is returning to direct Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I don't think that's a big selling point for a lot of people. I think people would like to see it maybe handled by a different person, but hey, it is what it is. What do you guys think about that? It's sequel galore. It's very hard to find the original properties these days, isn't it? Well, we got two coming this weekend, right? If is original, and then I don't count a biopic as being original, but then you got I Saw the TV Glow. You got a reboot of of the Strangers, but then lost in the mix is the original stuff, like I Saw the TV Glow. All right, Fall was an interesting film that came out in 2022, and it's going to be getting a sequel. Fall 2 will be directed by the Spierig brothers. The Spierig brothers, directors of Jigsaw and Daybreakers, will helm Fall 2 that will begin filming next month. Now, if you saw the trailers for the original Fall, it was just a small little movie that should have been about an hour and 30 minutes. They could have cut out a lot of stuff from the opening act. When a high rise climb goes wrong, best friends Becky and Hunter find themselves stuck atop a TV tower. And I liked it because I'm a big fan of Grace Caroline Curry as an actress. Mason Gooding was in this. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was actually pretty good in it as well. It's just a small role, but Virginia Gardner, whatever. And apparently some of the cast is coming back. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was the father, and they had a good rapport. So if there's going to be like another situation where Grace Caroline Curry gets stuck in another high place, I'll be on board for that. So is that on her slate? It is not. So what are you talking about saying that we're going to get a sequel? So then maybe it won't be with them. They released a statement. We're extremely excited to helm the second installment of this franchise and bring life to another nail biting, vertigo inducing thrill ride. Mann also added, I am so proud to hand over the reins to the Sperrigs, two highly respected genre directors whose addition will undoubtedly make this follow up even more a must see experience than we already knew it would be. I can't wait for Flawless to work alongside them. Oh, because they're going to work on another project called Flawless, I guess. Details on the plot and characters have not been revealed, but we do know that Fall 2 and 3 will bring back original characters from the first film, while also leaving room for new ones to be introduced. Well, it's not going to. The only one that I care about is uh, Grace Caroline Curry. That's the only one that I want to see. Um, yeah, if you're afraid of heights, this capitalized on that. This did a good job of working with that. I felt like um, it was a nice little experiment, but it had some pacing issues in there, and I think she's a good actress. I want to see more from her. Like if they're doing a Lara Croft a TV show, make her Lara Croft, please. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. Make her the Tomb Raider. Why? Because in the Tomb Raider game, James, she climbed up a big tower like this. Yes, because she's got the physicality that can handle it, and you root for her. All right. So, fall two. Um, are you looking forward to that? Do you want to see a rinse and repeat, or do you want to see them try to expand the fall franchise mythos? Yeah. Um, what did Fall do at the box office? Let's just take a look. It wasn't an extraordinary budget or anything, but I don't 17 worldwide. And I would say the budget was probably around 10 to 15 million, maybe. I don't know if that's really profitable then, guys. Seriously? 17 million? You're greenlight two sequels? Maybe the budget was 5 million. Let's just see if I can find some evidence. Oh, it was only 3 million. Fall gross. So it was a $3 million budget. Okay. Well, then, yeah, it grossing 17 million does put it into play for sequels. All right. Now I gotta figure out. The budget was 8.5 million for Strangers. I'm gonna have to put this over in materials for Strangers review because it's gonna make that money back. I don't want to digress into that though too much. Arglass says it should be I don't care what you did last summer. Yeah, I don't know how you breathe new life into that. I really don't. You have to have young, recognizable people because people knew who Jennifer Love Hewitt was. People knew who Freddie Prinze Jr. was, Ryan Phillippe, and people really knew who Sarah Michelle Gellar was. So there's four people. Who are four people right now of that caliber? Millie Bobby Brown, Sadie Sink. There's your two lead actresses right there. And then people say, well, it's too much like Stranger Things. So what? Who else would be young enough to be in that from the guy's perspective? I guess. Walker Scobell? No, he's too. That's too young. I don't know. Fall 2, Fall Harder. The strap line will be interesting. Yeah, but if there's just another scenario where it's kind of like you're afraid of heights, but then you want to overcome your fears. So the way that you do that is you desensitize yourself to it, and then maybe in her character trying to overcome that fear again of being scared of heights, she gets trapped in another, like her worst nightmare kind of thing, right? That's the way that I would try to come at it That's the angle that I would use for a sequel. And it wouldn't have to be up on a radio tower or anything. It could be on a cliffside somewhere, or in a building. Who knows? Oops. I Am Legend 2. I Am Legend 2 gets promising update from Will Smith. Really solid ideas, he says. Will Smith talks starring alongside Michael B. Jordan in the post-apocalyptic action sequel I Am Legend 2. They've been trying to get this one off the ground for a long time, too. The sequel will use the original ending where Will Smith's character survives, setting the stage for his return. Yeah, there was like what, two endings that I know of. Or they're saying that there was three. Like in the one ending, I think it was the theatrical version, he dies. He explodes with the main leader bad guy. But then there was another version where he actually heals all of them and they respect him. And I think that's the version they're talking about. But I don't know if it's been too long. And again, I don't think I Am Legend was it profitable enough that you guys should be talking sequel? We had a couple of weeks together about a month ago. I think it's looking good, he says, while he's been out doing press for Bad Boys. That comes out 3 weeks from now, the first week of June. It comes out, right? Um, he said, with talking about Michael B. Jordan, we've had some really solid ideas. I think we're going to make it on screen together. That dude is the truth, so I would love to do that. I just, I don't know if there's an appetite for this, man. Like, there was an interesting idea that there was this virus that turned people like into zombie kind of things, and that he was the scientist looking for the cure. But I felt like they pretty much satisfied all things that we had curiosities from that universe. I don't know what else is there to go back to. I can't think of the angle, but that's probably because I just haven't sat down and thought about it. Yeah, like maybe what happened to their. Does he ever get back to his family? Maybe. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Keep our eyes open for that. People dislike the I Am Legend because it predicted Batman versus Superman, because he had the big Batman versus Superman poster in the background. Like, that's the most thing most people remember. That and the relationship with the dog. People love the dog. I have to see. Uh, they need to embrace geeks and do more movies like Boy Scouts Guide to a Zombie Apocalypse. Do we? Boobs. For God's sake. Arglass Vikings, Michael B. Jordan is a busy boy. Apparently, he wants to snipe in and do a quick Blade movie before Marvel's gets off the ground. See, now that's a good choice for Blade right now. Except he's Killmonger, so it's, I don't know, because he's of the age of a Blade that you would want to have for a while. I think they should just go younger. Get a Blade that's like 25, 30-ish instead of 50 like Mahershala Ali. I We talked about that at length. What's next? What do we got next? New Insidious movie. I thought the last Insidious movie was going to be the last one. New Insidious movie gets a summer 2025 release. Actually, I didn't mind the last Insidious movie. That was directed by Patrick Wilson, The Red Door. I thought it was a really good way to close off that franchise. But now we're going back to the well. There's a new Insidious movie coming out summer 2025, and it's not previously announced spin-off thread. And it's not the previously spin-off. What? There's a spin-off? Back in 2022, James Wan was producing Back to the Future Meets Aliens. What? So, Deadline reports that Sony has announced August 2029, or sorry, August 29, 2025 as the release date for the next Insidious movie. And since Thread already had a screenwriter and stars attached by mid 2023, it seems logical that it would be with the 2025 release date, but Deadline says that's not the case. This summer 2025 Insidious movie is something else. Oh, yeah. So the spin off was called Thread An Insidious Tale, which has Mandy Moore in it and Kumail Nanjiani. And I don't know what, like, people, like, when they try to deviate from, was it Insidious 3 and Insidious 4? When they deviated from the family, the main family, and the Darth Maul monster, it kind of lost its way. Like, I mean, there is a lot to explore there with the upside down world that they've got there, the inside out or wherever they call it. uh, like there's and like you could have other people interact with that universe kind of thing, right? And maybe have other demons. I don't know. The Threads movie though will have Moore and Nagiani play husband and wife who enlist the help of a spell to travel back in time. Oh, okay, for God's sake. No, you, a spell? You need a spell to go back in time. Such that they can prevent the death of their young daughter. The consequences, of course, prove to be severe. That doesn't sound like Insidious. And if it's so disconnected from the Darth Maul monster, then why do we need to go back to it? Why call it Insidious? Just because you want to try to cash in on it? If it's a good movie, guys, we will go out and watch it and we will champion it. We will, by word of mouth, say, you need to go check out this Mandy Moore, Kunal Nanjiani picture where they travel back in time in this weird, funky way and try to resurrect their dead daughter. We'll do that. Not the title. Ah, Juan told Screen Rant Thread could turn out to be the first in several Insidious spin-offs. Well, as I said, there's because of that upside down world, there is possibilities where you could make other movies in that universe. It's just don't. Do you need to use the Insidious title? I don't, because it's horror, and even the worst horror movies, because of the budgets, will usually make their money back. Aye, usually. There is the occasional ones that are just like totally lost and forgotten in the mix. Keeping on with horror, let's move on to the hit or miss, and then we'll wrap things up. We're 54 minutes in. Pinocchio horror. Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey universe unveils R-rated details, skin suits, kill counts, and lots of gore. Yeah, there's a Pinocchio in the Pooh universe. I don't care. And I'm a huge horror fan, guys, but even this is the grindhouse schlock that you watch on Tubi when you're got really nothing else left to do in your life. Next, Silk Spider Society series has been scrapped by Amazon. So, Silk Spider Society, the live action series, which would have centered on Cindy Moon, has been scrapped by Amazon. A version of the Spider Girl or something like that. Spider Man series. Yep, people are saying that comic book fatigue is real and you're trying to use these D level superheroes to create a property. It's just not going to happen, guys. Next. But it's a really good story, James. Well, if it's so good, then why is it scrapped? Wesley Snipes drops hints he is in Blade reboot. What? I've heard that he may pop up in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, but I haven't heard that he's going to be in the Blade reboot with Mahershala Ali. Wesley Snipes got the attention of fans when he cheekily replied to an article. So, on Phase 6 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we're going to get Blade with Mahershala Ali taking over the lead role. And he just responded this week. Wesley Snipes responded to an article to a report that he was already signed on to do some stuff in the next Blade writing. And he said, "What? alongside with an eye emoji. So again, ScreenGeek.net is just one of those sites where they put out these big weird headlines hoping to get traction. So they're fishing for, is this true or is this not true? And it appears like this one would, if it got Wesley Snipes going, what? It's probably not true, guys. Next. Jason Universe, multi-platform expansion of Friday the 13th franchise coming from Horror Inc. Well, we talked at length last week that they scrapped the Crystal Lake series. So is this where we're going now? A multi-platform expansion of the Friday the 13th franchise. Just get them back on the big screen somehow, guys. I don't care what was happening with that Crystal Lake series. Brian Fuller. I know that people wanted to see Pamela run around and kill people and stuff like that, but nah. Adjacent Universe. The new Friday the 13th Activisions will span a wide range of platforms of entertainment, from games, immersive experiences, merchandise, and more to be announced throughout 2024 via the Jason Universe 13 social media handle. Okay, I don't know why that girl is putting on her shirt there, but it is what it is. That's a trailer for something. For decades, Jason shocked and okay, we don't need a history lesson for Jason. We know who he is. We're focusing on honoring the legacy while elevating the fan experience and appealing to today's horror audiences as we develop new ways to watch, interact, and engage with the Jason universe. The Jason universe. Is there something about that that's just kind of like, that doesn't compute, guys? The Jason universe. He he's like a zombie that runs around killing people. Um, and occasionally he fought with Freddy. You guys. You guys make me laugh sometimes. They try to make it something big and more epic than it is. And like Jason should never have had, what, 14 movies, but he did, and he's going to get more. So it's kind of like their strategy of running things into the ground by just rinse and repeating. Yeah, that's the kind of ideology that some current filmmakers like Rennie Harlin have adopted for The Strangers Chapter 1. All right. Yeah. So I think that's all I got. There was one more story here about Nicholas Hoult, Jude Law, and Ty Sheridan getting a movie called The Order at Vertical. I like Jude Law. I like Nicholas Hoult. Okay. What's it about? Two courageous, two courageous investigative journalists have created an insider's account of the Silent Brotherhood. Okay. Goes into some political, religious stuff. All right. I don't feel like going down that rabbit hole today. That's all I have for today, guys. I'm going to go out and see a movie later on. I think I need to have a coffee because I'm starting to close my eyes. But we'll round out the show. Martin Scorsese directing Timothée Chalamet for Bleu de Chanel. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck spotted in LA. Yeah, there's the gossip machine going around saying that they're headed for another divorce. I don't believe it. I don't care about that stuff. I just want them both to be happy. Timothée Chalamet photographed for the blue Chanel ad. I don't like the blue. It's got a weird lingering uh, middle tone that I don't like. Plus, the first top chord, it's very maybe because I had the cologne, which is a little bit more higher alcohol percentage in it. Yeah, I didn't like it. Lily Reinhardt to star in mystery thriller American Sweatshop. It follows Daisy Moriarty, who, while dealing with a chaotic personal life, finds herself sucked into the underbelly of the internet. Moriarty. Yeah, Moriarty? Yeah, Moriarty and a motley group of co workers toil in the cottage industry of agencies. Huh. Artemis says I prefer Mont Blanc Explorer. Yeah. Chanel, I don't think I've ever smelled a Chanel for men fragrance that I liked. Barry Keoghan, Franz Rogkowski, Jason Buddha, Will 10, Bird, Photo Call. Yeah, Bird uh, premiered at Cannes the other day. New photo with Taylor Russell. Hunter Schafer at Cannes. Um, I liked her in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. You notice I talk about her, though, guys? And I don't mention anything about her past, except for her participation in protests that got her arrested. And where I say, please don't do that. Focus in on your career. That's what I say. Because she's got talent. But other than that, I'm aware of her past, and I don't care. Jake Gyllenhaal and Sabrina Carpenter in SNL promo. Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis debuts with 20%. Oh no. Can we substantiate that? 50%. So that's an old report. Well, yeah, that was 18 hours ago. So it's climbed a bit with 24 reviews. So let's take a look at what the snapshots are. Do we got some snapshots yet? No snapshots yet. Oh, no, yeah. Only 24 reviews. Screen Rant. Megalopolis isn't just a transcendental delight for the senses, it's a manifestation of Coppola's dreams for humanity and his dedication to cinema. From Brittany Witherspoon. Times UK. This is 138 stultifying minutes of ill conceived themes, half finished scenes, nails along the blackboard performances, word salad dialogue, and ugly visuals, all seemingly in search of a story that isn't there. Bummer. And I don't care. I'm still going to go out and see it. You guys know how I felt about it. I said my piece about it earlier. Is there a way that I can somehow cut all of this together and put it together? Maybe. Maybe. So early reviews are coming in, and we were expecting this. We were anticipating it. I Know What You Did Last Summer to be released next year. Yeah, we talked about that. Mike Faced at Cannes. Francesca Scorsese. Invasive Species. Sabrina Breyer. Do I know her? Her face looks vaguely familiar. Maybe I'm confusing her with that girl from Fall. For Life, Abbott Elementary. Okay, so it's just a few TV things. Nothing of substance. You just liked her because she had blonde hair, James. Ah, so what? Next. Shogun has been renewed for season 2 and 3. Yeah, we talked about that. Somewhere along the lines, we're going to have to get a copy of access to it. And if I do, then I'll do reactions to it. I'm going to be signing up for Disney Plus here pretty soon, so because we're going to be doing the Acolyte next month, and if FX gets, I think sometimes Disney Plus Canada shoehorns in stuff. I could be wrong about that. Or am I thinking about Crave that does that? I don't know. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Yeah, we talked about that. Chicken Shop Date. Black Phone 2. Yeah, we talked about that. October 27th. Megan 2. Yeah, we talked about that. Hunter Schafer. We talked about her. New teaser for Kinds of Kindness. July 21st with Hunter Schafer, oddly enough. And there's Barry Keoghan. I think that's where we ended off yesterday, right? All right, guys, that's it for me today. I am going to be I'm not going to record my movie review live because I want to make sure that the editing is very tight in the beginning for my Strangers formal review, and then we're going to publish a whole bunch of shorts this afternoon. So pay attention to that. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe. Enjoy your long weekend if you get one. We'll be around tomorrow for some shorts and straight out of the theater reaction for the movie If. And then Sunday I'm working. Monday we'll be back. So I'm not taking a long weekend. Not here on the channel Mirror Domains. But if you are, all the best. And I'll see you next time.